Hey everybody, it's your girl Tina and welcome back to the channel. I am here, you all, as you can see, to share a project that was inspired by my Summerset studio August, September, October edition. But before I dive into the project that I have been inspired to create, I want to talk about a swap that I'm doing. I'm in a swap with Susie, who is Creative Calf Girl here on the YT. Susie and I share a love of Summerset Studio magazines. And we have decided to come together and do a collaboration slash swap. So, this project today is for my swap with Susie. Susie, if you are watching this video and you don't want to see what the swap is, I say stop now. All right, you all, I'm excited about this swap. Susie, over on her channel, she likes to create journals. All types of journals. Journals with fabric. Journals with just paper. Just journals with napkins. She loves to create journals. And her work is so inspiring. So beautiful. And like I said, we both share a love of the Summerset Studio magazine. So a lot of times when she gets her magazine, she will go in like I do, and the projects that inspire us, we will make our version of those projects, and then we share them with you all, our YouTube family. So I'm going to get started because there's going to be a slight tutorial. So for those of you who are watching and perhaps don't have time to see the tutorial, I'm going to start off by showing you what I created, and then at the end of the video I will be going into a slight tutorial to show you how I created the foundation basically of my project. Okay, can somebody tell him thank you? Let's get it. I'm excited, you all. All right, here we go. This is my project. I simply love it. So I was inspired by, let's see, home is where your circus is. All right, and let me just show you all that page first and the little article. Okay. You all, I'm not going to rush through this video. Home is where the circus is. So this right here is the inspiration behind my project. This little project here is an accordion book. And let me show it to you from this angle. This is the accordion book. And so throughout this article, it just shows us different pages of the book. Okay, so this is what I was inspired by to create this project that I have. And my project is an accordion book. Okay, so now let me show you what it looks like. All right, the theme of this issue is home. Home is the theme. So everything in this issue deals with home in some way, every project. And so home, what I did was I sat down and I created a accordion book with a home shape, a house shape. That makes better sense. A house shape. All right, so this is the cover, and then it flips over. You all, I did a lot of distressing. I did a lot of inking. And I also did sewing. So let me go back. I want to show you again. So this is the cover. As you can see, I layered. And I also, on the top layer, sewed. Let me bring it up closer so you can see the stitching. Okay. This is a paper pad by Authentique that I found at Tuesday morning. Simply fell in love with the entire collection. Love that feel. It's a warm feel. All right, so I layered my two papers. I distressed them on the edges all the way around. I also ink distressed them. So I went around with some ink distress. Now the ink that I use is really chalk. I pulled out my quick quotes. This is an oldie but goodie powder puff chalk inks. And this is what I use throughout this entire project. I simply love it. Again, a lot of distressing, right, with my distress tool. And then I inked the edges. I did some sewing. I have fabric here. I have lace here. I have trims here. I have die cuts here. Love the way that this little album turned out. And this is the back. I love this wood grain blue paper that came in that collection. And so I just put bits and pieces from my stash. This is a Spellbinder's door die that I use to cut out the door. This is some ephemera that I got from my stash that was gifted to me. I pulled out a fabric, a felt doily, small, tiny, come from Michael's, out of the old Michael bins. I pulled out a 63 piece and put that there. Love the way that that looks. And then these are just some paper Scrabble pieces that I cut down. Was in my stash. Here's a key. I love it, you all. Susie, I hope you enjoy it. Inside, I have just some vellum pieces. Again, some laces and trims. This is a die cut right here of the hand. Again, this was inspired by that article. I absolutely love it. Okay, so this is what I created for my swap with Susie. Now I want to go in because you all probably going to have questions. Ask me, did I use a die? No, I did not use a die. I created this album on my own off the top of my head. And I'm just going to show you how to create the same exact base. Okay? So, we're going to take two 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock of your choice. Now, this cardstock that I'm using, it is patterned like has a feel, wood grain feel, or on one side and then the other side is solid. That's okay. You can also use just a plain, some plain paper. Like this, for example, just plain cardstock paper. Or cardstock, I should say. But you need two 8.5 by 11 pieces. Because I'm choosing to use this coordinations paper, I have this little strip right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is to cut this strip off. Okay. So let me bring my trimmer here. And I'm simply going to go in. And at that first little notch, I'm just going to simply cut. I think this is like Yeah, I'm going to cut right there. Just enough to cut the strip off. Okay. Now, again, if you use just regular cardstock, you won't have this strip, so you don't have to worry about this step. Okay? All right. Now, this is what I'm going to do. This blue line, you all, will be our guide. I use my mat often when I'm creating freestyle. This is what I call creating freestyle. No dye, no anything to guide me, freestyle. This is going to be our guideline. Okay? So now you're going to take the two strips of the two pieces of paper, and you're going to lay it here evenly with this white line going vertically. Horizontally, you want to line up the edge of the paper with this blue line that's going here. Okay, you want to even that out, bring it to the tip, right? So now all sides are even and straight. Get it as straight as possible. Okay. I'm going to come in with this second sheet. Let me say this. I want to turn this over because remember, you all, it's two sides to this paper. If you use regular cardstock, you don't have this issue about worrying about which side is that you want to use. I want to use the smooth, the back side. All right. I'm going to do the same thing for this. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring this second sheet and we're going to let it overlap 1 inch. Each one of these squares is an inch. So this paper starts right here. The second paper should start right there. That's how you measure and keep everything straight. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in now with some adhesive, right? Still keeping my paper straight as possible. Okay. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to keep the adhesive in the middle of this 1 inch. All right. So I'm putting down adhesive just enough to adhere these two sheets together. All right. Remember, this top blue line is my guide. So I want to make sure at least I have the second sheet all the way to the top of the blue line. Then I want to go over and watch this white line and make sure I have it in the right place there. Okay, once I get that set, all right, you're going to adhere and press down. I'm going to use my little roller here. You all, I had so much fun creating this accordion book. Oh my goodness. And it brought back so many memories of my childhood and thoughts of home. All right, so now we have those 2 pages adhered together. Okay. Now, the next step that we're going to do, we're going to score. So you need your scoreboard. Okay. You're going to put your paper here. All right. I'm going to show you. You're going to be scoring at increments of 4 inches. All right. So we're going to score here. 4. We're scoring at 8. right? And then we're going to come down here to 12. Right? Now you're going to take your paper, you're going to flip it, bring it to the other side. This here last 12-inch mark that you scored, I need you to put that back at the 12. This is how I do it. You may have another way of doing it, but this is what I do to help me. Okay? So now we're going backwards. We're going to score at 8. We're going backwards and we're going to score at 4. Okay? So now we're finished with the scoring. All right. So now that we've scored, we want to go ahead on and we want to fold. And you're doing valley and mountain folds. Okay? So here we go. We're going to just fold at those score lines. You want to make sure that you fold evenly as possible. All of the folds should meet up with each other, right? Sometimes you just have to reinforce that. You're going to come back. You're going to fold again. Again, all of the lines should meet up. Going to come back and we're going to fold one more time. All right. So now we have this one piece that's left at the last score line. You're going to come in, bring your trimmer, or you could take your scissors and just cut that piece off. I choose to use my trimmer. That way I'll know it'll be as straight as possible. That's just my choice, but again, you can also use your scissors. And you just want to cut that piece off. All right? So we have those two pieces. Now what we're going to do is discard that piece, and now you have an accordion fold. And this fold should be 4 inches wide, right? Okay. Stuff this on my paper. All right, so you have an accordion fold. All right, now what you want to do is, because I wanted to create the shape of a house, you're going to we're going to use this blue line again, you all, as our guide, correct? All right, so we're going to put this at the top. We're going to pull out our ruler. And what we're going to do is make a house shape, right? We want to make this little peak on this accordion fold. Now, make sure it's flat as you can get it. You can crease your folds if you would like to make it flatten down even more. All right? If you're still rocking with me, we are almost to the end. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. This here is set in between 4 inches. How do we know? 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Each square is equivalent to an inch. You're going to take your ruler and you're going to line it up with this peak here. So you're going to go up 1 inch above where your paper starts. Let me go down. So I want to make sure you all can see this and understand it. All right, so we're at this white mark here going horizontal. You're going to line your paper up in between the 4 inch marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to go up 1 inch here. And this is where you're going to lay your ruler in a diagonal way. Okay? in a diagonal way. So now we're going to make sure that it is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We only want to go 3 squares down. So if we're going 3 squares down from the top, you all, here's the first, second, and the third. You're going to line the end of your ruler at the corner of the 3rd inch. This is how I did it. I think I want to go a little deeper, though. Okay. So you can eyeball this right here. It's where you want to be. But I did go down 1, 2, 3. I'm down 4. Okay. You can always go back and reset it if it is not where you want it to be. I use a pencil. That way everything can be erased. Now, we're still at this peak over here. So now what I want to do is I want to line up my ruler with the peak where I started. And I'm in the middle of this 1 inch square. Okay, I'm over here in the middle of this 1 inch square. I stopped in the middle, just about in this 1 inch square. So now you just eyeballing it and you're putting it together, you all. If that makes any sense. If you have an easier way, by all means, choose your easier way. All right, so I'm going to look at that. I could tell that it's a little bit off, right? So now what I want to do is I just want to go back and clean up and try to make these 2 end points come together. Okay, that's what I want to do. So now for me, what I'm going to do is now I'm finna draw a line this way. That kind of helps me to see where I need to be. So this side needs a little bit more off. Okay. Now you all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just take my trimmer and I'm going to cut on those guidelines, cut through. So you need a good trimmer that can trim evenly for you. All right, you all, I eyeballed it. And now I'm cutting. Okay. It's one side. Now I want to do the same thing for the opposite side. So now I'm bringing my trimmer up and I'm just going to try to put those lines together. Now this is what I need to do. The light is getting me. All right, so now I'm here, you all. This was the point. So I'm just going to draw a line to try to make sure I can try to get as close to that point to make it even as possible. So I'm going to start down here, lining up this end first with the cutting point and then that end. And we should have it. Okay? Again, it's no wrong or right, you all. We crafting. We're creating. Nothing has to be perfect in the art world. And this is art. All right, so let's see. We're going to take off a little bit more over here. Try to even this out just a little bit, you all. If you don't get it right on the first try, it's called try again, right? Okay. I like it. It's fine for me. Okay, so this is how you do the tip. And you come out and you just simply erase all of your pencil marks from your cardstock. You all, this is the best eraser to have as a crafter. If you use pencils to do measurements and things of that nature, I love this Black Pearl Paper Mate eraser because you do not see the eraser marks. You don't see where you had ran over the paper with an eraser. It is the best eraser. So I recommend that Black Pearl Paper Mate eraser for a part of your crafting tools. All right, so here we go, you all. We have an accordion house album, book, whatever you choose to call it. All right, so like I said, you can use regular papers, regular cardstock. I did the same thing, and I have it. I did this one for you all, and I have it. And here's another one. Okay, so you could choose what you want to do with it. Now, then I went in and I began to layer my paper. So after I created the base, once you create the base, however it turns out, you need to get you a piece of cardstock. And what you're going to do is you're going to make you a template now, right? Because this is what you're going to need to make the layers of your book, right? So I just took this and made a template. You want to make a template because you want your pages to line up exactly with this foundation book that you have created. Every foundation will be different, you all. Okay? It's according to how you cut it at that time. So you're going to take that, you're going to cut it down. Right? You could use your trimmer as well. I'm just choosing to use my scissors. All right. So now I have a template for my layers, right? This fits. This is a template now for my layers. So let me show you my book. I did one layer and then I did a second layer. So my first layer, I'm going to take this template, and these are just some scraps, you all, that I want to use for this particular project. And I want to come in just a little bit, okay, inside of the border of the foundation book. So what I do is I come in, I take this, I trim it, trace it, or I should say, use pencil, that way you can erase your marks, right? So now that is my foundation. I'm finna cut it, right? Right. All right. Now, you can use your scissors or you can use your trimmer to trim it down again. And this time, I'm just going to use my scissors. I'm just going in and I'm just cutting a little bit. I'm not cutting a lot. And again, it does not have to be perfect. All right. So now that I went around and I trimmed, here you go, you all. And then you just eyeball it. Do you need to trim more? Yes, I do, because I want a little shadow effect, right? Again, you can use your trimmer or you could use your scissors. Somebody probably saying, I would never be able to use scissors. I used to think that way too. All right, here we go. Do you see what I did? And I'm going to repeat that step with a second pattern paper. I'm going to come in. I'm going to sit this down. I'm going to trim out my base and then cut it down and adhere it and begin to form my album. All right, so you all, that's the little tutorial. And this is my thought and my process that I use to create this little baby right here. Susie, I hope that you really like this. Now, what I did was, I'm not going to show the backside because the backside has 2 layers of foundation background paper as well. I left everything blank on the backside so that Susie, you could fill in your inspiration about home. Okay, so I'm not going to show the opposite side of this accordion. I'm going to let that be a surprise to Susie. You all, I had so much fun with this accordion. If you stay with me to the end of this video, please leave in the comment section what you remember most about home. What makes home home for you? Tell me about home. Is home your past, where you grew up at? Is home now, where you are at this present time? What does home mean to you? Please leave that in the comment sections and share with me. I so enjoyed this swap, this collaboration. Susie, thank you so much again. I hope that you enjoy and love this accordion book, album that I have created for you. It was such an inspiration. The quotes that I used in my album are quotes from the Summerset studio. They were so inspiring, and so I wanted to surround my accordion book around those quotes. Again, you all go over to Susie's channel. She is Creative Calf Girl here on the YT. Show her some love. Go and explore her channel and her beautiful, beautiful creations. Susie, thank you so much for doing this collaboration and this swap with me. I hope we have a collaboration and a swap in the future. You all, stay blessed. Keep washing those hands every 15 minutes. Hot water and soap. Wear those face masks. And most of all, keep creating and stay blessed. Till I meet you all next time, have fun. Enjoy. Talk to y'all later.